Unit 2, Landscape in 17th and 18th Century Taiwan. Lecture 5, Tainan City in Taiwan Aboriginal Map. Dabao's Adventure in Tainan. Time Travel in Dajingtou. Our story began at National Taiwan Library. One day, Dabao visited an exhibition organized by the library. Walking around the exhibition area, Dabao was drawn to a special map in the style of a traditional Chinese landscape painting. It was a reproduction of the old Taiwan Aboriginal Map. In spite of the fact that the original map was already 300 years old, the reproduced one was displayed in the most modern way possible, with 3D animation and virtual reality technology. Dabao felt he could actually explore the old Greater Tainan City, navigating through the streets and taking a close look at old buildings. Dabao was very much intrigued by the enlarged details of the map. In fact, Dabao was born and raised in Tainan City. Regarding Tainan as his home city though, Dabao had never imagined how Tainan might look like 300 years ago. After finishing high school, Dabao went to college and lived away from home. He had not come back to Tainan for a long time. However, at that moment, right in the spot, Dabao felt as if the map was talking to him, encouraging him to revisit and rediscover his home city. So Dabao took days off and went back home not long after. He tried to find 3 of the main streets and some places from his memory that he used to be familiar with. He tried to do so with the help of a copy of Taiwan Aboriginal Map. Among all the places on the map, Dajingtou was the one that he wanted to learn about most. According to the map, Dajingtou was located at the west end of an east-west trunk road. With the guidance of Google Map on his cell phone, he went to a corner where Minchuan Road and Yongfu Road intersected. He found a stone monument there, with the place name Dajingtou inscribed on it. Walking by the monument, he stumbled on something and hit the monument, losing his consciousness. Somehow, inexplicably, he was sent back to 300 years ago. He was to wake up and find himself in a totally different era. When he was struggling with dizziness in his head, Dabao felt someone was patting him on the face. He opened his eyes and realized he had been lying beside a big well. It was a young man that was patting him. The young man was friendly and showed some concern for him. Many people came around the well to see what had happened. They were all dressed in clothes that were very much different from what you would see today. Their hairstyles were odd as well. They looked just like actors and actresses from Taiwanese costume dramas as you would see on TV.
"Why do you lie down here beside the well? What happened to you?" asked the young man.
"I stumped on something and fell to the ground and end up here. That's all I know. Where am I?"
said Dabao.
"I can surely tell from your accent that you are a foreigner. This is Dajingtou. We have the most well-known well all over Tainan here. It's very close to the ocean, but it's fresh water in there. It tastes very sweet. Everybody around Taiwan knows this place. Look, those people behind you are all here to fetch water."
Dabao got on his feet and looked back. All the people around the well had a wooden bucket with them, ready to fetch some water. The young man made sure Dabao was okay and said,
"Now that you are okay, I shall say goodbye to you."
But that was not how Dabao wanted it to be. After all, as a newcomer, it would not be easy to find someone to talk to. He really didn't want to miss out on the chance to make his first friend in this world. So he ran after the young man and stopped him. Dabao's Adventure in Tainan, Fort Provincia. Our story continues with Dabao stopping the young man from leaving.
"Well, to tell the truth,"
Dabao said,
"I'm a newcomer here. I'm afraid that I might get lost somewhere without a guide. So I was wondering if you could."
The young man was altruistic after all. He knew Dabao was in trouble, so he took the offer.
"I see," he said. "I'll be your guide then. My name is Xiaobao."
"What a coincidence. My name is Dabao."
Dabao laughed.
"Thanks a lot."
Xiaobao then pointed at a street in front of them and said,
"Here's the main street."
I already know that. What is its name?
"The main street is the name. That's it," Xiaobao said bluntly.
People used to be so straightforward when they gave names, just like the way Ko and Jia speaks,
Dabao thought to himself. They kept going. Once again, Xiaobao pointed at something and started to introduce it.
"Look, this is called Red Hair Building."
It was a magnificent fort tower at their right-hand side. To his knowledge, Dabao recognized the building as Fort Provincia.
Why do you call it Red Hair Building?
Dabao was confused.
The tower was first built by the Dutch. Dutch people have red hair, so we call them the red-haired, after their building, Red Hair Building,
Xiaobao explained.
Oh, that's why. So straightforward.
Dabao exclaimed with surprise. Dabao's adventure in Tainan, Mazu Temple. Having introduced the Red Hair Building to Dabao, Xiaobao turned around and pointed at a temple right across the street.
"That's Nyangma Temple,"
Xiaobao said.
Nyangma Temple? Never heard of before.
Dabao said as he walked toward the temple. As soon as they entered the temple, Dabao looked up and saw a Mazu statue. He soon realized it was a Mazu temple.
Isn't it a Mazu temple? Why does he call it Nyangma Temple?
Dabao thought to himself again. What he didn't realize was that the way people give names changes over centuries. As things went through Dabao's head, Xiaobao continued, "You know, this temple used to be Prince of Ninjing's residence. It has been reconstructed to what it is now." Dabao looked around and discovered two deity statues on both sides of the Mazu statue. They were Chen Liyan and Shun Feng-er. Both were impressive for how vivid they looked. Dabao's adventure in Tainan, Taiwan Fu City God Temple. They left the Mazu Temple and kept going east along the street to a place where two streets intersected.
"This is called Crossroads Street, where the North-South Main Street and East-West Main Streets intersect," said Xiaobao.
They kept heading east along the street. There was another temple for them to visit.
"This is it, Taiwan Fu City God Temple."
Xiaobao pointed at the temple and cried with excitement. Dabao was totally perplexed, not knowing what to expect. Xiaobao then explained to him,
"Fu City God Temple is a place where people get judged by the underworld city god after they die. The god knows all the good and bad deeds you have done."
They walked into the temple. There was a big plaque on the beam at the entrance that read,
"Here you come."
Xiaobao pointed at the plaque and explained yet again,
"That means everyone will come here someday and get judged by the god. It is promised that you will have what you deserve to have. By the way, the plaque you see is one of the 3 most famous plaques in Tainan."
Dabao's adventure in Tainan, Taiwan Confucius Temple. Having finished their visit to Taiwan Fu City God Temple, Xiaobao took Dabao back to the crossroad and headed south to another crossroad. This place is called the New Crossroad. The street that intersects with the main north-south street is called the New Street. That's because it is relatively new to the main street. They continued going south and came to yet another temple. There was a monument in front of it. The monument was inscribed in both Chinese and Manchu language, which read, "Civil and military officials, soldiers and citizens, all dismount from their horses here." Dabao couldn't help but show great respect to the monument.
What temple is this? He asked.
Xiaobao pointed upward and said,
"It's over your head."
Dabao then looked up and saw a plaque that read, "The First Academy in Taiwan."
I know. This is the Confucian Temple built by Chen Jinan, Wei Xiaobao's master,
Dabao cried.
"What? All I know is that it was built by Chen Yonghua, a general from Ming Zheng period. Who is Wei Xiaobao?"
Xiaobao asked. With Xiaobao being his guide, Dabao went on visiting Da Chengdian, Ming Lung Tang, Wen Changge, and Pan Gongfang. He was very much impressed by the First Academy in Taiwan. Dabao's adventure in Tainan, Epilogue. Having walked around Tainan for such a long time, Dabao and Xiaobao were both exhausted. They went under a tree, sat down, and got some rest. Dabao fell asleep very quickly and slept very well. Suddenly, someone woke him up and asked,
Hey, why are you sleeping on the ground?
Dabao opened his eyes, only to find himself lying beside a stone monument inscribed Dajingtou, installed by Tainan City government. Dabao then realized all that he had experienced was just a dream. He had no choice but to go back to modern-day Tainan. Well, at least I visited so many sites in ancient Tainan with the guidance of Xiaobao. It was not futile to have the dream at all.